What is going on, guys and girls? How are you doing today? It's Single Roleplay once again, and today I want to guys showcase the build that I've used 2 years ago, back in 2017, and it all started with the words, "What is going on, guys? It's Yoji." These are the words that I heard back in 2017 when I switched back from Diablo 3 to Path of Exile and started playing. I was looking for a build that is kind of easy. I wanted to play the Summoner. And what I came up with is I saw the guide by Yoji. It was a Summon Raging Spirit, Summoner, Necromancer using the Spectres. It was my choice, and it was the first build that allowed me to get to the end game. I also leveled up to the 90 for the first time ever in the game, and it was overall a super success. What I wanted to do in the 3.7 is I wanted to reinvent Summon Raging Spirits to see just how strong they are, how they are capable of doing all content in the game, including the very end game bosses like Uber Elder. How are they good for everything? And to be honest, I was absolutely surprised how smooth it is now. A lot of things have changed for all these 10 leaks that have passed since 2.6. The new abyssal jewels, new revoked auras, new items and shit, and overall SRS got dramatic buff over the years as well. It was my fastest leveling build I've ever played in the game. I reached end game in just 3 days, and this is some serious mathil speed for you guys. And I killed Uber Elder really unexpectedly on a level 88 character on a 5 link, and it literally shows how crazy this thing is. Literally crazy, guys. The leveling experience was never as smooth since the Elementalist build that I did ages ago. I just completely ran through all of the acts, maps, and everything right into the end game and smashed everything with this build. So let's take a look at the pros and cons, and I will explain, guys, how it all works in detail. Pro of the build is because it's incredibly cheap. It's the cheapest build probably I've ever played. Literally the only expensive item that I have on me is the Commander of the Pit Gloss, which were 70 chaos, and they can still be bought for 50 chaos. Aside from that, everything is like 5-10 chaos, guys, including the chest, the jewels, and everything else. So the whole build is under one exalt, and I killed Uber Elder in 3 fucking days. Just think about it. Another pro of the build is definitely how smooth it feels through all content. You do not struggle anywhere. You do not struggle with mapping. You do not struggle with the bosses. Bossing damage is even more impressive than the Skeleton Summoner that I played, believe in, somewhere on par with the Spectre Necromancer. The damage in the Path of Building is really impressive. It's even higher than the Spectre Summoner. Assuming we can get 20 Raging Spirits out there, and each of them do about 300k damage, that's about 6 million Shaper DPS, guys. 6 million on a budget of 1 exalt. This is pretty insane, honestly. This is stronger than the Skeletons, this is stronger than the Spectres, and this is more affordable and easy to play. And I think that right now I will be recommending this build to the every player out there, being it starting or the veteran players out there, just because it's so fucking smooth for about anything in the game. The only con that the build actually has is it's not entirely very good for the delve. It's okay, but it is pretty sketchy simply because you cannot really control what Raging Spirits do. They are like homing missiles. You cast them ahead of you and they just start, you know, spreading across the screen, targeting everything they see, anything that they can reach, and you can't control them. So when you cast them and then go, they do not follow you. So you have to actually cast them every time you see any monsters ahead of you. And some of the monsters are pretty fast. They approach you like the snakes and anything that very fast. That literally obliterates you from the sides, and it can really hit you really hard, surround you and kill. And this is where delve is a little sketchy, and this is probably the only con of the build that I could imagine. And even though I did a pretty decent amount of delves, and it's okay, it's just not insanely good for the delve, let me put it like this way. Alright guys, here we are in the path of building, and I will show you how exactly it works, what is the tree, where you should be going for early on, and so on and so forth. So first of all, how the build works. We are effectively an aura bot for our summon raging spirits. We'll be using Victorious chest, Victorious influence to put all the auras there in the chest to affect all our raging spirits with the built-in generosity in the Victorious chest, and to give them as much buffs as possible. The other things over here on the tree is mostly toughness and minion damage. It's all pretty straightforward. Super important thing to get on the tree is the great amount of area of effect of aura skills, as well as increased effect of different non-curse auras from your skills, as well as reduced reservation, so we can put a lot of auras both on us and the most important thing is on our raging spirits. So starting as a witch, we will be taking these nodes over there, there's a new minion damage over there, and straight right into the arcane focus and arcane will and Lord of the Dead, as well as Heart of Soul. Next we're going on the right and take a melding over there. I also went down right early on to get leadership, and transitioning back to the left side of the tree to get potency wheel. This is when you will need for your summon raging spirits to last them longer. We'll be taking one skill effect duration there, as well as grave pact. I also started transitioning up early on to get spiritual command, as well as some extra life. And as early as possible, around level like 60-70, you'll be transitioning into sovereignty, as well as getting all the super juicy, fat, big minion nodes, which is spiritual aid, redemption, and righteous army. Up till this point will be around 70-80, and up till 70 it's mostly buffing the toughness, and that's about it, and getting more reservation. Up till about level 70 you'll be playing one-hander plus Victorious Charity. This is pretty much the same amount of damage, but it's a little different. In the end we'll be transitioning to the two-handed staff with Fortify, which has been reworked as well. 45 now gives more melee damage, and luckily for us, no one gives a shit about staffs in the game for now, because everyone is super busy playing Cyclone with the swords and axes and other shit, so no one gives a shit about staffs, luckily for now. So 45 staff will be our endgame weapon. To get into the 70-80, we'll be transitioning and getting to charisma. Once again, more reduced reservation. This will allow us to stack enormous amount of auras, as well as going up, we're going with influence, staking more energy shield, essence surge, as well as getting this crazy amount of, wait a minute, I'm specking this, yeah. Specking with the energy shield and life. This is a hybrid build, and this is a bit tricky because the tankiest version of the potential summoner you can build is about hybrid, simply because you are literally running tank. You're not trying not to get hit and buffing your minions around you, so you need to be as much EHP as possible, and this build runs at about 8000 HP is what I can get with the Clarity Watcher's Eye. I think I get it somewhere, yeah. Clarity Watcher's Eye give you a little like 500 to 700 more energy shield, which is great, but even without it, it's not big of a deal. You can get about like 6000 to 7000. I get about 7500 right now on my character, so it's not crazy mind-blowing with this. That's about it, guys. Keep in mind that I'll provide you two paths of building there. One with the character that is like from level 1 to level 70. One is from level 70 to level 95, which will be your end game setup. This is where you will be start using staff, which is very important because staff can only be used starting with level 68, and this will be transitioning from a one-hander and a shield with necromantic axe to the actual two-hander. Let's talk about the items first. This is the staff that I'm using right now in the actual game. the funniest part about this is, like I said, no one gives a shit about stuffs now, and this stuff even surpasses items like the Realm Ender. Realm Elder was always the best stuff for the SRS prior to this patch. It gives you +1 to fire, a +2 level to elemental gems, and some cold to fire. But this thing over here in a 3.7 is better. You can even see like this. The damage is much stronger, guys. So this is the stuff you'll be looking forward. Keep in mind that 45 mod is a hybrid mod. It always comes with an increased physical damage. You always get 45 increased phys, and the rest is basically, if you get an open suffix, you can craft increased minion damage. This is a top tier mod you need to get on your staff. That's about it. Helmet, nothing specifical. This is 2 chaos for this helm. No one gives a shit about SRS, like I said. You need this helmet chance. Summon Raging Spirit summons 18% chance to summon an extra minion. This, effectively with the Unleash Jewel, allows you to cast 8 Raging Spirits at a time, sometimes instead of 4, and 8 instead of 4 is a fucking big deal, guys. This is what you need to get. Practically just life energy shield on a Hubris Circlet or the Necromancer Circlet base with as much life, mana, resist as possible. Nothing else is important. Victorious Influence, Liquid Garb. This is the key item. How we are buffing our Raging Spirits, why they are so strong. This chest is usable by all Aura bots, and we are effectively a fucking Aura bot. That's why we're using this. Level 30 Generosity is supporting all the skills gems in this chest, and the best thing about them is they do not need to be linked. You can run just 6 sockets and it'll be fine. You don't need to link this shit. The only thing you should be linking for is your Enlighten to reduce the reservation for your linked gems, but you can run without it. I don't have Enlighten right now, and I killed Uber Elder in 3 days, guys. It's that easy. That's about it. You need to get as high energy shield on this chest as possible because, like I said, we are hybrid build, so we are interested in stacking as much HP as possible to be as tanky as possible, as fat as possible to survive everything. The gloves are 2 options here. One is Commander of the Pit, and this is the end game gloves. Increased cast speed, maximum life, and when a Ghastly Eye jewel socketed, we are getting the accuracy. And if you put the Ghastly Eye here, for example like this, minions get enormous amount of accuracy, and this is what you should be doing there in your build, guys. This is what you should be doing. So another pair of gloves can be very useful is Grip of the Council. They require level 60, and they can also be very cheap. That's about 5 to 20 chaos. This is what you'll be using when you'll be leveling. If you have the chaos, you can use Grip of the Council. Grip of the Council, guys, slightly less DPS, slightly less, but at the same time, Grip of the Council gives you life and resistance, as well as they reduces the movement speed, but they gain 20% of phys extra cold. Overall, pretty close damage, but Commander of the Pit is a little better, and this is why I'm using it, simply because you can get another jewel in the build as well, and jewel can be potentially energy shield as well, so that's quite good. Boots, like I said, absolute garbage. I think I paid 2 chaos for these boots, and practically shit. As much life and energy shield as well, 30% movement speed. That's about it, guys. Like I said, the build is fucking cheap. Amulet, Astra Mantis. Astra Mantis helps you with a couple of things. Very high dexterity requirement and very high strength requirement. As you can see, I have a little bit of unbalance here on the strength, but it doesn't matter. You will get there anyway. Astra Mantis solves 2 big issues. First of all, Steel Skin we should be using, and in the build uses 155 strength, and Val Haste uses 159 dexterity. This is enormous amount of dex and strength for the poor fucking witch necromancer. That's why using Astra Mantis literally solves this problem entirely. And this is like 5 to 10 chaos item. Once again, if you somehow solved your strength and dexterity problems, you can go much tankier by using, for example, this, which is the amulet with even more DPS. You can craft your Aspect of the Spider potentially, and this is the super end game top tier upgrade that you can get. Aspect of the Spider anywhere on the gear or non-Astromandis amulet is what you should be looking for. But I use Astromandis. It's cheap and it gives you a lot of strength, so you don't need to spec into this, you need to spec into this, you don't need to take anything there. Once again, rings, nothing crazy, guys, nothing crazy. One ring should be just you know, energy shield, life, mana. Don't forget about the mana. Don't forget about the mana, because you're using Arcane Will, and if you somehow got the Watcher's Eye as mana as extra clarity, you will be stacking mana, because mana is effectively more energy shield for you. And I personally use like 2 of these rings, and this is just an example of what you can be useful as well. So if you want, you can use 2 rings such as this, or you can craft faster start of energy shield recharge on the rings as well. They can also be very useful, maybe a little tankier. So these are 2 options here. Belt is Darkness Enthroned. Darkness Enthroned increases the effect of the socketed jewels, and this is where we'll be using practically just 2 jewels with ES, life, attack speed, and minion physical damage. That's about it. The other jewels, like I said, is hybrid jewels with energy shield, life, and well, something useful like attack speed for the minions, increase minion damage if you use minion skill recently, as well as very important thing that I can totally recommend is using minion have 4% chance to blind on hit with attacks. Summon Raging Spirits cannot taunt the enemies, so taunt is useless, but blind is useful. I get 2 of these jewels on me right now in the game, and they have like 8% chance to blind. Very strong defensive option, guys. Even drop some damage, just use 2 blind jewels. This is mandatory to have. This is just to showcase you what different types of jewels you can get. This is the Watcher's Eye that potentially you will need. That's about 5 to 10 exalts, and this is the super endgame toughness investment. I bought this actually for about 5 exalts. It was super cheap. Faster start of energy shield recharge rate, as well as extra mana as extra ES while affected by clarity, and will be affected by level 1 clarity, so we will be getting enormous amount of ES with this. The flasks, well, like I said, I'll be reading in the flask section, but this is practically just defense. 1 life flask for you, because we are not running CI, we are hybrid, so any chaos damage that goes to us effectively goes directly to life. And this is, I forgot to talk about it, but this is another con of the build. You need to worry about chaos damage a lot. Like poison and chaos really hurts. So temple incursions are pretty deadly, and overall some curse, some chaos and poison bosses like the toxic sewer, pretty damn crazy. So always be attentive to the poison and chaos damage with this build. So 1 life flask, Rumi's Convocation, like I said. Rumi's is there for a reason, simply because we're using the staff. A staff gives us 18% chance to block attack damage while wielding a staff. And it was stupid not to go Rumi's Convocation, because guys, 38% chance to block. This is big, honestly. And you can stack more block chance if you wish with the jewels, but I honestly think that kind of a 1 Rumis is more than enough. Once again, it's armor that gives you a lot of toughness as well. Another is Basalt, once again, physical damage reduction. Quicksilver for the move speed, and Taste of Hate is there for toughness. Once again, physical damage reduction, this is mandatory. This is how you stack toughness in the endgame as a summoner, because you don't give a shit about damage. You don't get anything from the flask, just physical damage taken as cold damage, and you will have a lot of cold resistance here. That's why you take less physical damage with this. That's about it. Now let's talk about the skills really quick. First of all, the helmet is where we have our discipline, and there's also a really cool setup with the Arc, Curse and Hidden Elemental Weakness. It serves 2 purposes. First of all, you curse the bosses with Elemental Weakness, casting Arc, Curse and Hit. At the same time, you'll be proccing Elemental Equilibrium for your SRS, because you'll be hitting them with the lightning damage, and the enemies will automatically take more damage from cold and fire. And since we're using hatred, and we're using naturally raging spirits have a lot of fire damage, so they literally have almost no lightning damage. You can even drop wrath if you wish, and they will just do cold and fire, and that's about it on physical too. So even though it messes a little bit with the lightning damage that the SRS do, potentially you can use this because this is a giant amount of DPS boost against bosses. Gloves. Gloves are Commander of the Pit. They have 1 abyssal socket and 3 natural sockets, and we'll be using custom damage taken with steel skin, very high level. And this is where I put my level 1 clarity for the Watcher's Eye. 6-link chest. This is where all our auras come. Anger, Val Haste, Hatred, Precision, and Enlighten. Precision should be capped level 1. The thing about a Wrath is, like I said, questionable. If you can fit it in, if you still have enough mana reserved to cast your SRS. But I honestly run without Wrath now, and not big of a deal. It's not crazy amount of damage, and at the same time it messes around a bit with your elemental equilibrium. So this is your own choice. If you run one extremely cheap, you can run without Enlighten and without Wrath. This is super cheap setup, and can like I said, I killed Uber Elder without Wrath or without Enlighten, easy. Falling boots. Flash offering gives more attack speed to your minions, as well as faster casting, desecrating, animated guardian. Animated guardian is pretty much a super endgame boost. Animated guardian, I have a separate setup here. You can see there. This is the animated guardian setup here. I will talk a little bit about animated guardian separately, but this is where it is, and honestly it's just not really required. It's a super endgame boost. I run with the stone golem the entire fucking game and no problems whatsoever. But if you want to really like push the endgame, give you whatever possible to boost your SRS, then animated guardian is there. Let's talk about animated guardian really quick. This is the setup that I personally use for the animated guardian, and what I recommend. Relentless Fury. This gives him cooling strike, and this is the reason for this, because animated guardian cannot really kill anything on its own. He's kind of a weak dick shit, but cooling strike allows him to kill. And since we're using Victorious Charity, 10% chance to grant a power charge on to nearby allies on kill, and 5% chance to grant a frenzy charge to nearby allies on hit. So frenzy charges are easy to get because he hits, he shares endurance, he shares frenzy charges, right? But power charge is very hard to get because he will not kill anything pretty much. He's just weak. But with a cooling strike, he has a chance to hit anything and kill, and that's why he can once in a while get his fucking power charge. Helmet is Leer cast, mandatory. Body armor is personally my favorite. Bloodborne, because it just gives enormous amount of regeneration and increases maximal life like fucking crazy. Your animated guardian literally needs to survive anything. He will still probably die to the endgame bosses, but this chest, when I played the Spectre Summoner build a long time ago, literally this is the only chest that allowed him to survive. Since we don't really have leech on the tree, we don't give minions leech because Raging Spirit don't give a shit about leech in general, but he needs to survive. Bloodborne is my choice. Southbound, once again, increase maximum life for your minion, once again crazy. Victorious Flight, 10% increase movement speed for your allies, mandatory to have. This is a setup that I recommend for your animated guardian. Now let's get back to our SRS. Like I said, this is the 6-link SRS setup that I personally use right now. And even though I killed Uber Elder on a 5-link, this is what you should be getting on a 6-link. Summoner Spirit, Unleash, minion damage, ally damage with attacks, melee splash from mapping, melee fist damage, and for bosses, you swap out melee splash for the multi-strike. Ruthless is very strong, but I honestly do not recommend it because if SRS get hit, they mostly die, and Ruthless only does his more damage boost on the third attack. It just might not happen for SRS, because they will die before they will make the third fucking hit. That's why multi-strike is all around the best gem here for the swap with melee splash. That's about it. Without the melee splash, your SRS will do absolutely no mapping damage. This is mandatory for maps. That's about it. That's practically it, guys. And for the passive points, we're getting a kill all, 2 points. This is what we get there. So pretty much it, guys. That's about the trip. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. I will reply to everything. So once again, guys, I would like to thank you for watching the video. The build is enormous amount of fun, and this is pretty non-meta build, so it don't really gives a shit. It's one of the types of builds that is very powerful, but it's kind of a dark horse of Path of Exile. It's still pretty damn popular, I would say, but you know, the meta dictates that some skills just become less or more popular over the course of time. I wanted to specifically revisit SRS in this league, and it was an absolute blast, a fucking success, tons of fun, and I was blown away by the damage and how smooth the build is. Super strong build, absolutely crazy. Uber Elder killed on a 5 link and in fucking 3 days, unbelievable. Level 88 kills Uber Elder. This is crazy. I have never killed anything with such a low level in the game so far, so I was totally impressed. And you know, you can see anything. I will upload the Uber Elder kill right there. It was a sloppy kill, but like I said, I did not even expect to do this, and it was so much damage. It was pretty smooth, and even with this stupid teleporting bugged shaper jumping across the screen, it was not big of a deal for the SRS, because they couldn't actually get his ass anywhere on the map. So once again, guys, thanks for watching. Tons of fun. It will be a pretty advanced, complex build. I will have like a very big leveling section there for you as well. A very cool stuff, guys. Thanks for watching. Once again, see you soon. First of all, I would like to thank you very much for watching the video. Your likes and dislikes, especially, as they push me forward even more. If you want to see more content, please consider subscribing to the channel. I do daily uploads of role-playing content, being it builds, guides, let's play, stream highlights, and upcoming RPG games. Also, don't forget to follow my Twitch stream to catch me live in action. I do stream daily on working days. I'm a full-time YouTube content creator and a Twitch streamer too, so if you want to support me, you can do it either from Twitch or by PayPal directly from my website angryroleplayer.com. Join my Discord channel too for a place to discuss RPG things offline, as well as follow my Twitter to be notified on any new content. If you want to get extra information like sneak peeks into upcoming videos, plans, different behind-the-scenes footage, you can also join the Unholy Army on Patreon as well, guys. Thank you very much once again for watching, listening to all this. See you soon.